Hey everyone, Ken Davis, Long Game Yoga here. This flow is going to be targeting the inner part of the upper leg. So this is the final one in the 4 video series I have on just strengthening and stretching the upper part of the leg, where so many of those muscles are that we're using when we're being active. You know, if you like to do aerobic stuff, cycling or running like I do, these muscles are really getting a lot of work a lot of the time. So one of the goals is to try and keep everything balanced. So the quads and the hamstrings, they get targeted a lot. Outer hips, or inner thighs, that's an area that doesn't get as much, but we want to keep that strong too, to keep the joint balanced, to keep our balance as we're walking and doing stuff. So this is really going to be about those inner thighs on this one. Let's start on our backs. As usual, it's nice to have a couple of blocks handy. We'll definitely want them for this practice. If you don't have blocks, you can grab books or something else. We're going to start off in a reclined butterfly. So what we want to do is bring the heels, soles of the feet together, and then just lie down and let the knees drop out to the side. And we're just going to relax here. You can always prop your outer legs on blocks here if you want this to feel a little bit easier, a little gentler as we get started. Or you can move the blocks and just start to get that little stretch, right? Just this simple pose is starting to stretch those inner muscles, those adductors. Hands can be on the chest, they could be down on the mat, they could be in a sort of a shavasana shape. We just want to let things start to wake up a little bit in that area. And then bring your attention to the breath. I think it's a real nice benefit to incorporate attention and awareness of the breath with our physical flow as we're moving through it. So just see if you can deepen the breath, you know, really bring it all the way into the belly. Let the lungs fill up all the way to the collarbones and then just let it out. Try and keep nice full breaths. That's going to help keep us present in the flow. It's also going to get the muscles to relax a little bit with nice long exhalations, nice deep inhalations. It does tell the nervous system that it's okay to be in these stretches. We'll take another 2 rounds of breath here before we move on. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to the outer part of your leg and just help the knees up towards center. And then let's just take a couple of easy wiper twists. So just let the knees drop down to the left. Come back through center. Let them come down through the right. Knock those blocks out of the way if they're in the way. They're always in the way. And just go side to side a few times here. Brings a little bit of movement, a little easy, gentle movement to the hips. And then when you feel like you're balanced, you've done both sides, go ahead, pull the knees into the chest, give yourself a squeeze, take some movements. Sometimes it's nice to go up and down the length of the spine here, or take some little circles in either direction. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up, and we're going to make our way to our tabletop. So find your tabletop, and in our tabletop, it's really nice to think about the alignment. You know, we do want to get that straight and just make a habit of it every time. So we do want to get the shoulders over the wrists. The wrist crease should be parallel with the short edge of the mat that you're looking at, right? If that's more comfortable to turn your hands out even farther than that, you can go ahead and do that too. Sometimes I like to also think about getting my index fingers parallel to one another, so it makes the number 11 take up a lot of space with the fingers. Press down into the mat with the fingers, like grip, like little gecko lizards. And I've got the hips over the knees. I'm not letting the ankles roll out. I'm firming them up. That's tabletop. And then we're going to drop the belly, lift the hips, pull the heart forward, lift the chest. So I'm stretching across the front body here, compressing the back body. That's cow. And then we're going to transition to the cat pose. So it's the opposite. Now I'm stretching the back body, compressing the front body. And then just flowing with the breath. Let's move through some cats and some cows. So inhale through your cow. Exhale through your cat. Keep the arms nice and awake, straight. You can think about slowing this down so that you can really feel that movement. We're making a nice graceful wave through the spine, going one vertebrae at a time, getting this movement into the spine without a lot of weight on it. You know, we're not standing up, so that weight isn't pressing down on the discs. We've got some breathing room here. The muscles that line the spinal cord are all getting some work here. It just feels like a good way to wake up the torso. I like to say to my classes that if I only have 30 seconds for my yoga practice, that's how I'm spending my 30 seconds doing those cat-cow rolls. So once you're done, your last cat, let's come back to tabletop, and we're going to set up for a gate pose. So what we want to do is bring the hands to the hips and just straighten. So this is kind of our Tadasana shape from the knees up through the crown of the head. We've got the hips stacked above the shoulders. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step my left leg out to the side. And so there's a couple options here. You can see here I have my toes parallel with the mat, pointing forward. You can also, I've seen it done this way too, or even this way with the foot up like that and the ankle flex. So whatever works for you. Start with the hands on the hips and then lift the right arm up overhead and then stretch over to the left. And then, if your foot's down or your foot's up, you should be feeling a stretch on that inner thigh area. Again, that's where we're going to be spending some time targeting today. And you can play around, see how it feels with the foot like that, see how it feels with the foot like that. Just reaching up and over. We'll take one more round of breath. And then we'll come up. Hands come down. We'll bring that leg back to our tabletop and maybe take a quick round of cow and cat. Noticing where you're feeling it, adding in any other wiggle movements that you like. And then we'll take it to the other side. So again, hands come to the hips. We lift the torso. This time I'm stepping the right foot out to the side. Still trying to keep the stacking here of the shoulder over the hip over the knee on the left side. It's the right side that's out. I've got my toes pointed up. I'm going to lift the left arm overhead and then side bend over that right leg in that direction. And here I'm feeling a bit of a stretch in there. It's not the most intense stretch I've ever felt there, but that's, not what we're here for. We're here for a well-rounded little flow on that area, and we're just warming up. So just keep the breath nice and supple here, nice and long. One more round of breath. And then we'll come back through center, bring the hands down, bring that leg back in, take any movement that feels good. And then let's just take a moment in our child's pose. So you can bring the big toes together, separate the knees a little bit, forehead comes down to the mat. And if child's pose isn't comfortable, and it's not for everybody, it can be a lot on your knees. So you can always, leave your hips up higher when you're down there, more of like a puppy pose, or just sit back on your seat, something that's comfortable. That just allows you to rest for a moment. If you are in child's pose, we're going to reach those arms forward. We're going to tuck the toes underneath, and then we're going to lift the hips up and back, finding a downward facing dog, pushing the hips up and away. So really the emphasis should be the spine here. So I want to see that spine nice and long. So from my wrist creases up to the sit bones, I'm getting as long as I can. The legs can be as deeply bent as you'd like, or you can even, walk out your dog. That can usually feel nice. So you're bending one knee, bending the other knee. Maybe coming up high onto the balls of your feet, sinking the hips back down. Coming back to the breath. And then from here, we're going to look forward, and we're going to lift the right leg. So finding this three-legged dog shape, And then we're going to roll forward, pull the knee to the chest, step the foot through, and then go ahead, drop that back knee. Here's a good place to maybe grab those blocks. So we're stretching across the hip crease on the left side here. But then what I want to do is I want you to heel toe your right foot off to the right and bring both hands to the inside of that front foot. So this is a baby lizard. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'll kind of go this way so you can see it. My leg and the arm are going to press up against one another. So what I really want to think about here is that contact. So the connection between the arm and the leg. And then I want to press the leg into the arm. Guess what muscles that's activating? It's those inner thigh muscles, those adductors. So just press the leg into the arm. Breathe as you're doing that. We'll just be here for another round or two of breath. So we're getting a nice hip stretch here. We're strengthening those adductors a little bit. And then when you're ready, we'll go ahead, reframe the front foot, and then we're just going to tuck the back toes, lift the knee, step back to our down dog. Take a nice stretch in this down dog, and notice how it feels side to side. Each posture that we spend a little time in does leave an imprint in the body. And you can feel that. A lot of times what it feels like for me is that I feel a little less congested, a little less tight, a little more open. So just notice how that feels for you. And then on your next inhale, we're going to lift the left leg up. We're going to look forward, pull the knee into the chest, step the foot through, drop that back knee, untuck the toes. Again, the blocks are right there just to get everything positioned right, letting those hips swing down and forward. Trying to keep the knee above the ankle. Trying not to let that back foot kind of hook in. Big toes pointing straight back, firming up that ankle a little bit. And then from here, we're going to bring the hands down. We're going to heel toe that left foot off to the left. So again, we're pressing the leg into the arm. So finding this baby cobra shape, baby lizard, pressing the leg and the arm together, making that contact, feeling that engagement of the muscles. Breathing here. Just feeling all the work that this shape is doing. And this is one of those poses. It's not the most strenuous pose that you can do in a yoga class, right? But it's very specific. Like I feel those inner thigh muscles here. So that's what we want. And then when you're ready, we're going to heel toe that foot back in, lift the back knee. We're stepping back to our down dog. Now, hopefully you feel a little bit evened out now that we've done that on both sides. So take a nice long stretch in this down dog. Get that spine nice and long. Think about getting long from the sit bones down through the heels, from the wrist creases up to the sit bones. Then looking forward, we're going to come up high into the balls of our feet, step forward. Inhale, we're coming into our halfway lift. So we want the torso roughly parallel to the mat. More weight in the toes versus the heels. Feel the hamstrings working, as well as the muscles along the spine. So those are helping to keep me up, maybe even roll the shoulders back a little bit. And then fold all the way over. You can just let the head hang heavy here. Maybe even shake the head yes and no a couple times. Letting the spine traction out under the weight of the head here. Feeling those hamstrings, getting a bit of a stretch, and then we'll drop the hands down to the mat, and on the inhale, lift the torso. Hands come to heart center. We're going to take a half sun salutation here. So inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive to that forward fold. Inhale brings you to a halfway lift. Exhale, we're folding back over again. And then rooting down through the feet as we lift the torso. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Let's turn that into a full sun salutation. We'll use low cobra today instead of up dog, but you can use an up dog if you like. So we'll inhale the arms up, exhale, forward fold, inhale, halfway lift, exhale, step back to plank. You can always drop your knees if you'd like a modified plank. If you're in a full plank, just push through the heels, and then the elbows graze the ribs as we come all the way down. We'll leave the hands at the low ribs, press the tops of the feet into the mat, and then lift the knees, spin the inner thighs up to the ceiling. On the inhale, head, neck, and chest come up off the mat. Roll the shoulders back, pin the elbows towards one another, pull the heart forward, don't strain in the neck. Exhale, forehead to the mat. We're walking the toes in. We're going to push up through plank or a modified plank. So on your exhale, belly goes first as you push. And then hips come up and back. Finding our downward facing dog for a couple of rounds of breath. The traditional breath count here is 5 breaths. So if you want to count breaths, you can count breaths. It's getting long again. And then from here, go ahead, look forward. We're going to step our feet to our hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, hinge to rise. Hands come to heart center. So here's what I want to play around with. Let's take a block. Or if you don't have a block, you can improvise something block-like. And we're going to pop it between our thighs. So squeezing the block. It's that inward squeezing that's really activating those adductor muscles. So we're going to find Tadasana with that pressure on the block. And you're almost spinning your thighs. So like, it's not going to happen, or if it does, leave it in the comments because I'd like to hear about it. But it almost should feel like you're going to just shoot the block back by like spinning your thighs back, like that. Again, unlikely to actually happen, but still. And then from here, keeping that pressure on the block, let's sink our hips, finding our chair pose, our Utkatasana. So you can bring your hands to heart center for this one. We're not really super focused on the shoulders or anything this one. And again, we're exerting this pressure inward. You're pulling the thighs towards one another. There you go, right? You're feeling that. Sink the hips a little bit more. Try not to let the knees go out too far behind, or in front of the toes rather. Squeeze, 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 and exhale, fold over. You can lose the block here. Push that out of the way. Inhale brings us back to a halfway lift. Plant your hands, we'll step back. If you'd like to grab a vinyasa here, you can go ahead and do it. So lower down either all the way or halfway. If you're halfway in chaturanga, it's the toes that slide back. Your back bend is your inhale. Otherwise, stick with that low cobra. And then the hips come up and back. Pushing the heels toward the mat. Doesn't matter if your heels are actually on the mat, never matters. You just want the legs straight. It's just natural geometry and mechanics for a lot of people. You might have very flexible joints, you might not. It's okay either way. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to inhale the right leg up. We're going to rock forward to plank. See if we can tap that right knee to the outside of the right arm and maybe press it in. So it's another way to get those muscles. And then back to three-legged dog. Rock forward, pull the knee to the chest, and we're stepping the foot through. Go ahead, pivot and plant the left heel. Heel toe the front foot in so that the heel lines up with the back inner arch. And while we're here, let's grab a block. We're going to put it on the inside of this front leg. And then we're going to start by bringing our forearm to that thigh. So we want to have a good bend in this front leg here. Knee tracking right above the ankle. Back leg is firmed up, so we're not just letting it sit there. We're firming it up, spinning that thigh towards the wall behind you. Again, it's that same kind of motion that we were talking about with the block. You can have your left hand on the hip, you can lift it up. And then from here, stay here or bring that hand down to the block. And we're pressing the arm and the leg into one another, just like we were doing in that baby cobra, baby lizard. Why do I keep messing that up today? I'm going to bring my hand to my low back because my shoulder has complaints lately. That's okay, we just work around. So I'm pressing the arm into the leg here, engaging those muscles. And then from here, I'm going to take this block and I'm going to hop it to the outside of my leg and in front of me, maybe a foot or so, and a little bit off to the right. And we're going to set up for our half moon. So from here, shift that weight forward. Go ahead, lift that back leg. So the lifted leg, the toes are pointing to the long edge of the mat. You want to get that block right under the shoulder and maybe lift that left arm up to the ceiling. Standing leg is strong. Lifted leg is strong. If you need a little bend in the standing leg, you can do that. Maybe play around with getting a little lighter on that hand for half moon. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready, hand comes to the hip. We're going to rebend into that front leg. And then I'm going to square off the torso. Heel toe that right foot all the way over to the right. Both hands come inside, and I'm leaving that back knee up in the air. Leg is straight, and once again, I'm pressing the leg into the arm. This is a full lizard. You might even find a little hint of cat in your upper back. Keep the legs working. Keep that connection. Keep pulling that leg in. Nice. And then we're going to reframe the front foot and just step back to our down dog. Notice how things feel side to side. And then when you're ready, look up. We'll bring the feet to the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, hinge at the hips. Lift the torso, hands come to heart center. We'll take all those to the other side. So from here, let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Come to that halfway lift. We're stepping back to down dog. So in our down dog, we're going to inhale the left leg up. And then rock forward. See if you can bring the left knee to the outside of that left arm. Press it in a little. And then inhale back to three-legged dog. Pull the knee into the chest, step it through. Get that front heel to back inner arch alignment. Grab a block for the inside of that front leg. And we'll start with the elbow on the thigh. Right hand can start on the hip. If it's okay on your shoulder, you can open up, lift that right arm to the ceiling. Stomping down through that left heel, keeping that right leg engaged. And you can stay here or lower that hand down to the block. Making that connection between the arm and the leg. Pressing the leg into the arm into the leg. Keep the breath flowing. If it's uncomfortable on the shoulder, you can always dial the thumb back. Bring the hand to the low back. We'll take another round of breath. Maybe sink the hips a little more. And then look down. We're going to bring that block to the outside and over to the left. Maybe the right hand is on the right hip. When you're ready, you just float forward. Get the block where you need it. Lifted leg, the toes are pointing to the long edge of the mat, so they're not pointing down. I'm opening up the hip. Getting this nice stretch on the inner thigh here. Reaching the right arm to the ceiling. Maybe get a little lighter on your left fingers. Maybe play around with floating that hand up. It's always trickier for me on this side. Nice. And then when you're ready, lifted hand comes to the hip. We'll step back. What? That was a bird. We're going to square off the shoulders and then walk the left hand over, or the left foot over to the left, so I can bring both hands inside. So this is lizard. I'm still thinking about that bird that just hit the window. Hope he's okay. And we're pressing the leg and the arm into one another in this full lizard. So again, it's that engagement of the muscles of the inner thigh that we've been focusing on this whole flow. I definitely feel it. Keep that back leg strong. Push through the heel. Nice deep bend in the front leg. We'll take one more round of breath. And then reframe the left foot. We'll step back to our downward facing dog. Last chance for a vinyasa here in this flow. So if you want it, roll forward to plank. Exhale down. Inhale through a back bend. Exhale, hips up and back. Last stretch in this final down dog. And then we're going to drop the knees. Let's bring the knees together and then sit in a child's pose. Again, if that's too much on your knees, you can sit up. You could tuck a pillow or a bolster between the shins and the back of the thighs. Or you can just drape the torso over the legs. Coming back to your breath. Breathing slowly. And you can maybe start to release the breath a little bit. It's coming back to a more normal, natural tempo. And then when you're ready, we're going to sit up. We're going to cross our ankles, come down onto our back. Let's have a block handy. We're going to do one more little thing before we wrap up. So we're down on our backs. We're bending the legs, planting the feet. We're going to take that block whoa, and put it between the thighs. Squeezing it in the thighs. And then let's turn this into a twist variation from here. So lift the shins parallel, stack the knees over the hips, bring your arms out into a T shape, take an inhale, and then exhale the hips, or the knees rather, over to the right. Keep squeezing the block. Come back through center. Go over to the left. Oh, that feels good. And again, with that block there, it is keeping that nice low-level engagement of those muscles. If the block is too much at this point, feel free to just ditch it. Come back to center. We'll go one more time each side. So back through center. We'll go one last time to the right. And then one last time to the left. Come back through center. You can move the block out of the way. Go ahead, plant your feet. And then for a second, walk the feet to the outer edge of the mat and knock the knees together. This shape, this constructive rest shape, is nice. You know, my feet are at the outside edge of the mat. If it's not comfortable here, if your knees don't comfortably touch, you could stick that block back between your knees if you'd like. Hands on the belly. Just relaxing here. And then to finish off, let's bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees drop out. This is where I'm definitely going to use the blocks because this is the end of practice. I want to just feel gently supported here. So you can see I've got the knees on the blocks so that I'm not efforting at all. So these muscles in here that we focused on have done a lot of work. Now we just want to give them a couple of rounds of breath or a couple minutes if you have time and you'd rather do that. Just let everything relax here. Let that low back release a little bit. If you're holding any tension anywhere, try and let it go. Stay here as long as you like. And then, you know, when you are ready to come up, just come up carefully. And so that was, you know, everything we did there was focused on those inner thighs, the adductor muscles. And again, the reason we want to really focus on that is because when we're active, when we're doing a lot of stuff, you know, it doesn't take that much to get into the quads and the hamstrings and to get those strong. You know, if you're running, if you're cycling, if you're rucking, if you're walking, hiking, there's a lot of things that you can do that are really going to get into those. But we also want to keep the outer muscles and the inner muscles strong too, so that, I mean, just think about it. Think about the way that bone sits in the joint. It's got muscles all around. We want them all to be strong to keep everything balanced so that we're not overusing one side versus the other, or we're not letting parts of that joint get weak. That's just going to help us keep doing what we want to do for as long as possible, and you know, with luck, stay injury-free. So, hope you enjoyed this series of 4 videos that were related to the muscles of the upper leg. If you have any questions, just drop it in the comment section. If you liked what you've seen here, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to see you here. We'll have some more videos up soon enough. Glad to see you on the mat. Hope I see you again.